All right, that's a quave delay. I don't know what I'm waiting for. We're just starting out. Let's adjust the set. Okay, there we go. So we'll be working on this guy. Next live painting at 4 p.m. today. That's almost now. Before we start, let's say a prayer to Disco Jesus. Disco Jesus, come Lord Disco Jesus, be our guest, and let this paintings and coffee to us be blessed. It's virtually a prayer sung by Etrigan. Okay, Etrigan, thank you for the awesome reverberations of your stylistic, lyrical, what do you call it, dialogue. Thank you. Now, let's see if I can set up the close-up cam on this thing. Looking for $1 million. All I want is $500,000 out of this. Team Cave Dweller, if I can get $500,000 out of doing this, well, you know, then I'll just start doing something wonderful. But not until then. Until then, I'll only be doing this. And when I do something wonderful, I'm talking about not saving the whales. This is like a baby can't hold its head up. And if I put it here, that'll be too close and I'll bump it. Okay, so I guess we won't be having a close-up cam today, which is great for me because that means no editing. Team Cave Dweller, welcome to day 96 of lockdown. I want to thank you for being here. There's many other things you could have done today. And you're coming here, you're hanging out with me, the Skrauss and Disco Jesus. As we work on this painting. I started this morning. This is a painting of this painting as it stands in this room. I dreamt about it last night. I dreamt that I had a painting of a painting. And it was done with very thick impasto techniques. So, I am going to reenact that dream with this very heavy, super heavy gel by Team Liquitex. This is a Liquitex brand. I mention it only because the brand actually matters in certain paints. All the paints have different feels and viscosity. For instance, Liquitex is often gummy, whereas other brands that I use, like Utrecht or Golden, are well, they set up better. Liquitex is just gummy. I can't explain it any other way. It stretches and oozes and has snapback. It has snapback, which is not desirable. But it's not lethal either. It's not going to kill your painting because it's not that bad. It's just not always fun to work with. So this is super extra heavy gel. Get a load of that. The beauty of the gel. In the dream, I just loaded the color on with this junk. And I had mixed emotions about it. I'm going to put in the ceiling and the walls. I'm actually going to... This square is this painting. This square is this painting. So let's start with blue. Because this painting seems bluish to me. And by putting it on super thick with a gloss gel, it allows that delightful transparency in layering that everybody drools over. Painting like this takes much longer though because the thick layers take a while to dry. And I'm painting it over this weird marbleized surface that I love to regale you with the joys of marbleized surfaces that suck. It's a great technique and it's an ooh la la when it comes out automatically, but in the end, what's the point? Answer: no point. It's a piece of art that is only only lasts as long as it takes to make it. And then it's done. The thrill is gone. Let's add some yellow and make this one green, even though it's not actually, there's not actually much green there. But I don't want to waste this blue. So these layers look creamy right now. But they'll be transparent when they dry. And then I put more on top of them. More layers on top of the layers. Which is why it takes about 1 million years to finish. This is white. I did this with acrylic white ink. This edge that I have here, which I hit with some yellow, and hit that with an opaqueness. Let's try portrait light pink hue. Just slap it down. Okay, I'm gonna mix it with some. Wait, what do I have a lot of? I have a lot of. Oh, I've got a lot of dioxazine. No, I want raw sienna. I learned something about color today. I was in the basement. I was in the... Dagnabbit, I put the handle in the paint again. I was in the basement in the hoard of wool. The wool hoard here at Revision Gallery. We have a wool hoard. There's a dragon sitting on a treasure pile as big as Smog's treasure pile, and it's all sweaters. These are sweaters that were accumulated over a period of a decade by the proprietor here at Revision Gallery when she was creating collage dresses. Dresses collaged out of recycled sweaters and other wool products. So we're going through these, color coding them all, because there's millions of them. And one thing I learned is there are a lot of colors. And they're hard to distinguish. For instance, when does yellow become green, and then green become blue? And then when does blue become gray, and then gray become beige? And when does beige become brown? And when does gray become black? Nobody has an answer to these. When does purple become burgundy, become violet, become magenta? My God, we'd have 1 million bids, one for each sweater. So I learned to just go back to the 6 colors method. You know? Red, yellow, green. What are they again? Red, yellow, blue, green, orange, the other one. This is on the edge. Dun, 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 dun. I'll bring it closer so you can see the awesomeness. Just put it on like frosting. Oh yeah, baby. I love it when it does that. It might take me longer than a day to do this painting that I dreamed of, my dream painting. I don't know what I will do if it takes longer than a day. This is a kind of painting I just want to whip out. I don't want it to be arresting my development as an artist. I want it to be a sketch. So, like I said, it's day 90 of lockdown. Do you know where your children and dogs are? This reminds me of the time the bicycle was invented. Not the velocipede, the standard Schwinn, and actually maybe the velocipede. And we're talking about old school ideology here when I say people were saying it was the tool of the devil, because now your children, instead of going only walking distance, they could go miles and miles away. Of course, children don't do that now. They just hang out at home and space out staring at video games, getting dry eyes. Internet, I don't know what kids do. Something stupid. Certainly not anything intelligent. When I was a kid, my stupid things were going into the woods and being stupid. I didn't be stupid online. There was no online. Thank God. Has anything good come of online? I'm being ironic. Can you tell? I was putzing around right before I went live, and I watched a Saturday Night Live episode. Sarcasm 101. It was alright. I'm not a fan of sketch comedy. I don't like comedy. I don't think it's funny. But I could see the humor. I didn't laugh, though. I didn't laugh at anything. So what does it mean if you don't laugh or you don't think it's funny, or you see the humor but it doesn't make you laugh? Is it still funny? That's what you're watching now. Oh, yeah. Here's another thing, Cave Dweller. Here's something I've learned, that when you watch something, you expect it to be presented in a certain way. For instance, good acting in your mind is something that the actor submerses himself in, presents something totally new, and makes you cry. If it doesn't make you cry, it's not good acting. For instance, dang nabbit, I did it again, but this time with my fist. Do you remember when Johnny Depp was up for one of those awards for his role as Jack Sparrow in the first pirate movie? And he didn't get it, of course, because it's not Oscar material. And yet, he did something wonderful with that role. Who needs an Oscar when you have millions of dollars to waste on wine? I better move this so I don't hit it with my face. There's still some things I can do on here before I put it down. That's gray, so I can leave it just like that. The floor is gray, so I can leave it just like that. What I will do is put on the floor kind of a green, because it's green tinted. When does gray become green? You know, you put the sweaters in the bin, you don't even know. It's hard to tell until they're all in the bin. Yellow, green, green, yellow. Which one is it? I don't know. Beige. When in doubt, beige. No, okay. Ultramarine blue. I want it to skew green, like I said, and I don't have any more chromium oxide. I used it all up. My only green is phthalo, which is fine, I guess. I use that. It's I don't need a lot, and it's transparent. I do need something transparent, and maybe even lighter. Okay, I'll add some white. Phthalo and white into the gel again, into the gelatin again. I was going to add white. I just had a job at a place where I was painting their living room while they were there. This was so retarded. I was painting their kitchen over their stove as they were cooking dinner. Why did they have me there? Couldn't they have cleared out? He's like, no, I want you to start here, right over the stove, as the noodles are boiling. All right. It's your funeral. I'm still going to charge you. He hasn't paid me yet. He's a nice guy, though. He's a good guy. A reliable customer. Terrified of COVID-19. What about COVID-18? Just call me COVID-20. That's my age. 20. Now then, I've got this beautiful green. Putting it on thick, cave dweller, just like I do for you every day, cave dweller. When you come to me, you know I'll spread it thick for you. Everything I say, everything I do is thick. And we got these bamboo rods. Oh, good. This green is going to go nice. We got the hands over here. I'll just put it over. Oops. I need more. I need more. I need more green. Listened to a great podcast this morning. It was with a conversation with Vicep and Jason Horsley. They are talking about our programming, how we are programmed as human beings by the elite, however you want to pull it apart. One thing Jason Horsley said that was very interesting is that all we can do is sort of get a map, because we can't find one grand unifying theory going back all through history of deliberate programming and conspiracy and, secret adherence to these long-term plans and agendas. It would take a lifetime just to unravel it all, and or 2 lifetimes. Nobody has that kind of time. So he's writing a book called Map of Hell. A lot of it has to do with Hollywood, the CIA, and the occult, and the mob, and they're all mixed together. They're all in bed together. It was a great interview. I would highly recommend it. This comes down. Oh, he was talking about propaganda. There's different levels of propaganda. There's overt propaganda where everybody knows it's propaganda, like Top Gun. And then there's propaganda where it sucks you in and you don't know that it's propaganda, like Star Wars. Altering your beliefs, altering the way you think about things and the way you do things. Why? Why? I always want to know why. What is the motivation for the global elite to exist and pursue these dreams of long-term conquest and control? I don't know. I don't know what the motive is. But I know we're moving to a cashless society. I learned that at Whole Foods when they threw me out of the lane and said, go to lane 2. We only do credit in all lanes except lane 2. I'm like, what? Credit only? I mean, come on. It's a shakedown. Now then, this is going to be mostly white, as it's the ceiling. We'll see if this works out. If this doesn't work out, there will be hell to pay. There will be a map of hell to pay if this doesn't work out. Oh, incidentally, there's 2 Jason Horsleys. The one spelled normal, which is not the one I'm talking about, and the one spelled with U, Jason. Check it out! Now then. Yeah, looks all right for now. You can see here where it's drying that it's actually drying. I'll add... it's becoming more transparent. So much so that... Alright, well the painting doesn't look anything like that, but now you have it. And I'm going to put it down to dry completely. We'll see what it's like tomorrow. Team Cave Dweller. Well, that's the first 15 minutes of the episode, and we got one painting done as far as the amount of work we're going to do on it today. Yeah! It's time for Disco Jesus. Everybody grab your Disco Jesus, fill it with your favorite coffee, and take a swig. Join me. Send me a comment if you got one. I've been getting friend requests on Facebook from people I don't know, from nubile young women posing with just a sheet covering them on a bed. What kind of banner photo is that? I assume it's a robot. Anytime a mostly naked woman tries to friend me, I have to assume it's a robot. So I messaged her and I said, hey, judging by your sexy cover photo, I have to assume that you're a robot. Where have you heard of me and why do you want to be my friend? She's like, I just want to be friends. So I guess it's a non-answer from a non-entity. Speaking of non-entities, I watched an anime 2 nights in a row. A whole season, 25 episodes of this thing, and I thought I was done, and then it said, watch next episode on Netflix, right? You just hit the next episode button a million times. Season 2, episode 1. I'm like, what the heck? How long can this go on? I stopped watching it. I'm done with the show. It's called Sword Art Online. It's got everything you love about stories that you're conditioned to want in a story. For instance, it's the middle school hero's journey. Middle school kid grows into power, first sexual experience, which is, in these cases, usually just boob touching for the first time. What is this? And then you have the anime girl shrieking, who's also a badass. She's a badass and she's helpless. That's a thing only achieved in Japanese anime. The combination of badass and helplessness that we totally believe and desire. It's all the fantasies of female womanhood. You know what I'm saying. Let's get to the painting. I'm just blabbing. I'm just schnabbling. This is a painting. Rug, chair, phone, wall, cutaway. I was looking at this the other day, and these are too steep. They're too long, so I have to fill them in slightly. And, let's do that. Where is my... Well, anyway, Sword Art Online, one day, they open up a game online. It's called Sword Art Online, and all the players go into the virtual realm, and they're trapped there. They can't log out. And they spend 2 years there trying to conquer the game because that's the only way they'll ever get out. And this kid, of course, he's a kid. He's the hero. Meets the girl. Conquers the game. And then it gets interesting. Everybody is released from the game. The world falls apart. But this girlfriend that he met, that he'd spent 2 years with, falling in love and getting married. They got married in the game. She doesn't get let out. She's still trapped in there. So he has to go into the next game and rescue her because the guy who took over the game production is trying to marry her so that he can own the rights to the game. And of course he's a creep, There's not much subtlety in these things. Well, the first villain, there was subtlety. He was an upstanding, noble guy, and he invented this game and trapped everybody in there, and his reason was, at the end, he's like, I don't know why I did it. It's so great. I love that. Anyway, the other guy's just a cliche, and he goes in, rescues the girl, she finally logs out, he slices the guy to pieces, and then he has a final showdown with him in the real world. The guy slices him with a knife, attacks him with a knife, they get in a fist fight in a parking lot. I don't know, I liked it. It was great. It was a great ride. Not as good as Gurren Lagann, but it was still a great ride. Now then, let's put in those colors. This was done, you may recall, with chromium oxide green. I'm going to have to fake that now with this other green that I'm making on the spot. I don't want to use phthalo. I think I will mix the green. I'm going to use phthalo blue, though, but I'm using cadmium yellow. And a lot of it, because I like that lime green look. I'm only going to need to put a dab of phthalo blue in there, because you don't need much. This is so yellow, it's almost yellow. This green, I mean, is so yellow it's almost yellow. Alright. There we go. Majestic, you might say. You might call it majestic. Majestic is the name of this color. Majestic lime green. Slap it on here, haphazardly. I really liked Sword Art Online. I mean, it sucked me in, and then it made me feel bad about my own life. These animes made for middle school boys always make me feel bad about my own life. I'm like, middle school boys in Japan, help me. Help me become a man. Well, going on the hero's journey. I don't know. I've been avoiding it all my life is, I guess, my conclusion. Not intentionally. I mean, stupidly. I've been avoiding my hero's journey stupidly because all this time I've been avoiding things that I don't see a reason to doing, which was almost everything. Virtually everything that I saw, there was no reason to do. And in reality, it's the opposite. There's a reason to do everything. Everything that comes before you. Everything when you're trapped in the Navy and they own you, body and soul, and you just got to do everything stupid. Just do it. Man, I was so dumb when I was 20. And then I held that attitude for decades. Anyway, so now I'm holding the attitude of doing things that need to be done. And I mean, mostly. So a part of that is doing my own marketing. I've been avoiding that. Partially because it was so difficult. To do when I started painting. It was hard to market because you had to do it with slides, sending slides to galleries, and then they just get your package of slides and they throw them on the floor by the lackey by the desk front. Well, these people have such attitude. There was a high school kid at a gallery in New Orleans once. He was like, he wouldn't even tell me who owned the gallery, who ran it. I don't even make an appointment. He's like, submit online. You go to their online thing and it says no submissions. Oh, the gatekeepers drive me nuts, especially when they're high school lackeys. So, you spend $400 getting slides made, and then the high school lackey decides he doesn't like the look of your envelope, right? It makes me crazy. So, I didn't do much marketing, and I got in the habit of not doing much marketing as a result of that. I'm trying to change those ways. There's things I have to do that are unpleasant, and I need to do them. So, that's what I learned from Japanese animated stories about middle school boys. Do the unpleasant thing. It's heroic that way. And it leads you to the place you gotta be. That's what I learned. Also, yesterday there was a great moment. I was having a terrible day, feeling depressed, like I was going nowhere, like my life, nothing was coming of it, and nothing was leading to anything, and I was just an imposter. I have imposter syndrome. Fierce. For instance, why am I narrowcasting? I mean, what am I doing? Why am I here? Why am I talking to you? I have no reason to do it. So that's just one, let alone these crummy paintings that I try to foist on the public. Also you. That looks not better, but a little better. You can see this comes in a wonky way here. I'll live with that, and I will accept that. This needs to change. Maybe I'll make these shorter. So I made that one bigger. If I make this one smaller, these are the things I don't know. I don't know what'll happen. I can do a little of both. Let's see what happens here. I'll use white. so if I make these smaller, yeah, that's better, isn't it? Okay. Team Cave Dweller.
Thank you very much. Thank you for joining me today. Did I ever tell you how much I love you? I love you, Team Cave Dweller. Team.
Do 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 do. Ba ba bum bum ba bum bum. Bum ba bum 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 ba bum bum. Bum ba bum 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 ba bum bum. Do 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 do. Now then, that makes it easier. This door is coming out more and more. A door, and I'm using raw sienna for the door. I mean, what the hey? Why don't I use some of that Garuvi gel? No, I won't. I will just brush it on like a normal human being. Brush it on like a disciplined individual. I recommend painting in acrylics for this reason. Paint migrates. If it's on your hands, it's on everything. As long as it's wet, it's traveling. You don't want it to travel all over your house, especially if you're in this cramped space that I'm in. You should see it. You should come and see it. I can take. Here's what happens if I take one step. I'm right up on this painting now. I'll take one step this way. Off screen. One step on a diagonal. Right in the middle, only halfway on screen. There's no room here. This is like the set for the Tonight Show. Be that as it may, let's get back to business. Now then. Okay, so yesterday I realized I needed to make this side go in and this side go out. So I can do that now. By these adjustments I'm making. I will alter things. Stuff and things. I will alter stuff and things. I had a great dream last night. It was pretty cool. I dreamt that I woke up and I had the virus. I gotta tell you, Team Cave Dweller, I don't believe in the virus. I believe it's a shakedown. It's a power grab. I mean, that's my belief. You can believe whatever you want. Anyway, so I was having a really hard time yesterday, and I get a text message from a woman who I met online a couple years ago, last year actually, and we were talking about ADD, and we were trying to help. She was trying to help me figure out my ADD, and all right. See, so this has to go in. So this will it'll be about here. So this will be about here, and this will be about here. Okay, so we can see that it's all ready. Anyway, so she was. There's a thing here called the Harbor Market here in Kenosha, and it is usually during the warm months. And you go to the harbor area and you sell your junk, just like a farmer's market, except there's no farmers there anymore, as usual. And she has some things where she sells plants and CBD oil and some junk. I went to visit her one day, and on the way back, I stopped here at Revision Gallery, and I just walked in and made friends with the owner and a woman here named Roberta who hangs out sometimes, and we hit it off, and one thing led to another, and now I'm artist in residence. I basically said that to my friend who contacted me via Instagram yesterday when I was having a bad day. And she said, "That's so awesome." And then she goes on further and she says, "You're so talented." Yeah, what did she say? I'm going to make it. It's going to work out or something. Just give it time. And I'm like, oh man. Just right when I was thinking, what am I doing? I have no ability. I was listening actually to Chris Knowles and Vice Up talk about music on a podcast. I'm like, damn, these guys are so informed about this subject. They know such minutia. They both have similar blogs where they talk about the interconnectedness of conspiracy. Chris Knowles versus skews towards occult and ceremonial type things that are being worked against us, and Vice Up focuses on parapolitics, the political end of the same kind of thing, behind the scenes interlinkages of evil. Save us from the interstitial interlinkages of evil, Disco Jesus. Anyway, so I was listening to this, and I'm like, wow, these guys can read a lot. I have a difficult time reading. I get distracted. I can't focus unless it's something that really grips me, like a Michael Moorcock novel, maybe, or even Ian Fleming. C.S. Lewis, his fiction over his nonfiction. Fiction. And the point is, she made me feel great. I forgot why I brought that up. I don't even know. And I didn't finish telling you the story about the anime either. There's a character in there, in this particular anime, Sword Art Online, who was an AI who the main character and his girlfriend adopted as their child. I forgot. It had something to do with something that happened a half hour ago. Don't worry about it if you don't know. But I love this. I love these edges sticking out of where there's no door, and I want to keep that as if the door is vibrating. Boom! Yeah, baby! The door is vibrating. Hell's bells! Helgens Belgians! This is going to be awesome. If I can make it. Okay, I'll take this one out a little further. And then what does that mean? Okay, yeah. So I'll take this one out more like this. All right. Now we are talking turkey. We are talking about turkeys. I have a dream, Cave Dweller. I have a dream of amateur television. If you love amateur television, for instance, Dungeon Majesty, or The Croft Super Show, or 70s BBC, those aren't amateur, but they're so low budget. Oh, one thing Christopher Knowles said that was so brilliant. They were actually talking. They were talking about Doctor Who, and in this episode that I was listening to, Chris Knowles and Vice Up, the occult origins of Doctor Who and these phenomena and these ideas that were in the culture at the time of 70s Doctor Who. And one thing Chris Knowles said is he prefers the old style BBC that was so low budget because you had to focus on story. Great thought. I prefer it just because I love the way it looks. I want to make shows like that myself. But I need a dream team who will join me. Are you a member of the dream team? Contact me. Look at my past catalog of shows. It may look something like that. If you like that, if you like what you see in Skrauss Speaks You Listen, I see there's a hole in it. Contact me. If you don't like what you see, then what are you even doing here? We're painting. Let's get the blue back in. Cave Dweller, it's that time of year again for being shut in. It's the time of shakedown, where the men are separated from the dissidents. It's that time of year again. It's that time of year again. Okay, now how am I going to do this? So I see the door here. I see the blue there. I want this part to match that. So what did I do? Oh, see, I love how this goes into that. Okay, this is what I have to do. If I take this down, to here, and put this one back in. I'm just playing right now, Team Cave Dweller, with paint. I'm playing with paint, which is often the best part. Well, I don't know why I say that. The best part is actually creating the world. Oh, incidentally, the sequel to Sword Art Online is Sword Art Online Season 2, World of Guns. And I was like, God dang it. I mean, it was so cool watching the kid with that giant sword. It's like twice as big as him, and he's holding it with one hand like this, behind his back, ready to swing. For some reason, I'm attracted to that kind of thing. What does that say about me? I know what it says. It says I'm still stuck in middle school. Good gravy. Somebody help me. Okay, so we'll put this back. All right. I like it. I like it. I like how it's like a saw blade coming out of the doorway. Let's see. How can I increase that? So I'm discovering this painting as I'm painting it. I'm not planning it. And the trouble with the way I paint, which is discovering the painting as I paint it, is that often it takes me years to discover what the painting is about. For instance, I started this painting in 16. I started this whole series in 16. A series of 10 paintings, this exact size. These are 2 of them. This is the first one, actually. And this in the series. And I did a show. I took a year. I painted them all in a year. And at the end of the year, I put on the show. And they weren't even done. I'm still working on them all. This one is mostly done. In fact, I think I called it quits on this one. I called this one finished. But if you look at it, you don't really know what to look at because it's so busy. There's a kid I was publishing his comic named Aaron Rainier. He's a published cartoonist now. He's very successful. And art. See, I don't know how he marketed his stuff. Oh, he got a postcard made. He had a postcard sent out. I did the postcard thing too, and I had no bites. And that's when I gave up, because getting a postcard printed and mailed, it cost me $500 for 100 postcards. It was exorbitant. Anyway, so he had this deal, and the art director told him, it's too busy. And I said to him, only an idiot art director would say it's too busy. The problem is there's no focal point. What a dumbass. Yeah, so you see over here, it's too busy and there's no focal point in this one over here. Now this one had a similar problem, and I made all the walls lighter. And I think this will be more of a focal point than this because it's busier. Now let's put in Montgomery Blanc. This is Montgomery Blanc. It's got a square head. Over here, it's communicating via telephone. This phone is ringing. That's what these lines are. He's trying to talk to Panama Dorado here. I got to put the meat hand on her. This is part of the... well, if I was a commercial artist, I might be able to work faster because I would work in watercolor. And when you work in watercolor, you just get what you get. There's no going back. There's no fixing things. I spend a lot of time going back and forth fixing things. If I was painting in watercolor, it would just be done. Panama Dorado. She lost her arm in an interdimensional accident. She lost her hand. The hand is still in the third dimension. I should have some candles in here, right? It is black magic. Maybe I should just give up on this brush. Candles. Okay, here's what we'll do. Quinacridone red light. No, we're going to do alizarin crimson. Before I knew about alizarin crimson in painting school, one of my buddies, he's like, you got to get some alizarin crimson. It's so red, it'll make your mouth water. I was like, ooh, I need a good red. Turns out it's not super great. It's not, I mean, turns out there are many reds. That's what it turns out. And it's transparent, so that means it's not super great. So she's got candles on the floor, I guess. Okay, so we'll assume it's black magic, so there's a pentagram involved. How did she draw the pentagram? Okay. Oh, look, right here is her eye. Her head was here in a previous version. So I'm keeping that eyeball. I don't want to lose that. Oh, so I'll accent it. Oh, I guess I'm using red for it, all right? This eyeball that's right in here, that you can barely even see anymore, some art student will find it someday, and they'll be like, hey, there's evidence of a painting underneath this painting. Let's strip off the painting and find the better painting underneath. And when they do, they will be sorely disappointed and grieved. Hey, you know what time it is? It's almost time to shut down. I haven't had a commercial yet. Let's see. I didn't bring the sky water. Or the well water. So, here's the shtick. We are here. We are almost done. Team Cave Dweller, I feel like I just talked your ear off and didn't get a lot accomplished. I hope that's all right. Today's episode of Skrauss Speaks, Image for Hire, live painting with the Skrauss, is brought to you by coffee in a cup known as Disco Jesus. Help me, Disco Jesus. You're our last hope. So remember, Team Cave Dweller, the next time you feel the need to succumb to the madness of pre-programming, just watch Netflix. It will suck you in and alter your brain forever. Alter your mind through trauma and audio. And the desire for trauma, because it's coolness. Sword fighting is so cool. Alright, Montgomery Blanc. Let's see if I can get Montgomery Blanc in it before we're done. I have this idea of him looking outward, but he should be looking inward. Okay, so here's his desk. Standing behind his desk. Boom, arm. Boom, hand. Boom, head.
Hi, it's Marcy Frederickson, and I'd like to order some more dresses. My number is 262-891-7483. Thanks. Bye.
So, while we're doing all this heavy lifting with the colors, Revision Gallery gets an order for dresses. Isn't that amazing? She sells homemade, hand-sewn, and hand-sewn, one-of-a-kind dresses for so cheap. I'm telling you, Revision Gallery, if you want a hand-sewn dress to fit that nobody else on earth has, contact Revision Gallery and you will get one for a song. It's a crime, actually, how cheap you'll get it. It is a literal crime, and you should be arrested and ashamed. Arrested and ashamed. It should be a life sentence for taking advantage of this extreme value. Revision Gallery. One-of-a-kind dresses for cheaper than your birthday suit. So Montgomery Blanc is standing here behind his desk. The desk has to be bigger. Oh, let's give it a shape like that. Yeah. Okay, it goes like this. And phone here. He's got a phone too. Why they're both using these antiquated phones, I don't know. I guess it sets the... I guess it gives it a... It gives the story a setting. It's not meant to, though. Fingies come on the inside, thumb on the outside, thumb on the inside, fingies on the outside, fingies on the outside. Blanc's face, hand. Cigarette hanging on the edge of the thing. Alright, so he's saying something. Okay, the neck goes like this. Pince nez. Nostrils. His face is towards her, but his eye is pointed at the phone. Okay, and he says, there's a window. What does he say? He says, pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. Okay, does he say that? We'll say he says that. I wanted to do this as a line drawing of Montgomery Blanc, but as you can see, I'm going to have to go in and patch it up because of the mistakes. That's what happens. Okay, well, I'll just put the words in here, and then we'll sign off, and I'll let you go. You can go anytime. You're free. You're a free man, woman, man. What does he say? Not the pentagram, not the mantras, not the magic, not the mass, not the black mass, not the black magic. No magic, no magic. Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up, no magic. Not the magic. This is hard to do letters with. I'll have to redo these, I guess. Magic. That'll be the stand-in writing. I go back and forth on how I feel about magic and mythology and the occult. I really respect Jason Horsley, Jason with a U, a lot, and so I put a lot of stock in what he has to say about the subject. But it's a fascinating subject, and I'm also interested in meeting the spirits. One of whom may be Disco Jesus, who I feel has let me down. Abandoned me. And I can only think of the footprints in the sand, that famous poem where, there's two sets of footprints. One is from Jesus, one is from me, and then we walk around and all of a sudden I look back and I'm like, what the fuck? There's only one fucking set of footprints, you sucking bastard. What the hell is your problem, you prick? I'm sitting here all by myself. Look, I'm drowning. And then he's like, oh, you don't understand. Skrauss, look at what's going on here. That's not your shoe size. That's one set of footprints is where I carried you. And then I feel like an idiot, right? Then I'm just a jerk. Team Cave Dweller, thanks for joining me. Here's hope that you never look like a jerk in front of Disco Jesus. Thank you and good night. Remember, the Skrauss loves you and Disco